I'm Madhu Sivaram Muttathil. I'm an in-house legal professional with just over 20 years of experience, working primarily with technology MNCs, right?
Yeah.
Currently, I'm with the VMware Australia Pty Limited, which is a Broadcom company.
Hmm.
I'm responsible for providing commercial deal support, right, to the ANZ business, which is the Australia New Zealand business, right?
Hmm.
So prior to VMware, I was the regional counsel of Avaya India Private Limited, which is another US collaboration and communications company,
Hmm.
right? I was with Avaya for just under a decade, right? 8.5 years, nearly, managing their legal, contractual, and regulatory affairs for India and South
Hmm.
Asia regions,
Yeah.
right? Um, I also had a nearly 5 year stint with Sapient Corporation, which was a US, consulting
Yeah.
major, right? Where I was responsible for managing India business and certain business units beyond India, right? I debuted in-house with a boutique company called IBS Software Services
Hmm.
Private Limited, which was a company primarily focusing on the travel, transportation, and logistics sector,
Yeah.
right? I commenced my career way back in 97 as a litigator,
Hmm.
right? I was a litigator for close to 4 years in my home state of Kerala in India. Pursuant to that, I also had a brief stint with two law firms in Mumbai, right, which is the business capital of India, right?
Yeah.
So this is my career in nutshell, right? And for the last 5 years, I've been in Australia. I've been based in Sydney, Australia,
Mhm.
right? So yeah. So I would say that I've had, I would say that reasonably long international experience across multiple jurisdictions, right? And I've also been managing international commercial contracts for a considerable period of time now, right? Not just limited to Australia,
Hmm.
New Zealand, but other
Yeah.
Asia Pacific geographies. But my current focus is Australia and New Zealand.
Very impressive. Thank you. And what inspired you to study LLM at the University of Aberdeen?
Okay, great. So I think one of my primary drivers, because Aberdeen University at the time was running an excellent program on commercial law, and
Mhm.
which was one of the main factors which persuaded me to pursue Aberdeen, especially this master's program in international commercial law at the University of Aberdeen, right? And
Mhm.
I thought I was already a commercial lawyer at the time with a particular focus on technology contracts.
Yeah.
And I thought the master's program offered by the University of Aberdeen sort of ticked all the right boxes for me.
Hmm.
So it was, a natural choice for me, even though I was exploring a couple of other universities. But Aberdeen, at the time is actually a perfect fit for me. So
Hmm.
the decision was pretty easy for me,
Yeah.
that way.
Thank you. And your legal career spans multiple regions, including India and Australia. How have these international experiences shaped your understanding of cross-border transactions and regulatory compliance?
Yes. So I would say that they have significantly enhanced my understanding of diverse legal systems and sort of broaden my perspective on legal issues, right?
Mhm.
Making me a well-rounded and effective legal professional over the years, right? I think this has been one of the key takeaways of my experience, across multiple jurisdictions like India and Australia.
Yeah, so interesting. And so you specialize in software licensing, SaaS agreements, and IT outsourcing. What are some of the most common pitfalls companies face in structuring these contracts?
Well, I think from my experience, some of the common pitfalls, right, I would
Mhm.
say are unclear or ambiguous terms of contracting, especially the,
Mhm.
the scope, right? Or inadequate uh, representation by the relevant stakeholders,
Mhm.
right? Uh, Misalignment of risks,
Mhm.
right? And a general, I would say that, you know, structuring
Hmm.
problem with the structuring of the contracts, right? So I would say that these are some of the, I would say that typical issues that you
Hmm.
encounter in commercial transactions, right? That's where, you know, as in-house counsel, we strive to add value, right? In removing these pitfalls.
Hmm. Interesting. And with increasing global focus on data protection laws, how do you ensure compliance with privacy regulations such as GDPR and APAC data laws?
Well, I think as the saying goes,
Hmm.
data is the new oil, right? Therefore, the significance of data protection cannot be emphasized, right? For instance, at Broadcom, we deeply care about privacy.
Hmm.
And while negotiating commercial contracts, right, I work closely with our global privacy team to
Hmm.
ensure compliance with global privacy laws like the GDPR and the APAC data laws like the Australian Privacy Act 1988, for instance, right? So I think this collaboration is critical between
Hmm.
legal and privacy to ensure compliance with this,
Yeah.
very significant data protection
Hmm.
legislations.
Interesting. And how is AI changing like your industry, and how does it like make or simplifies like compliance to all the regulations or makes it more challenging?
Yeah, so I think it is challenging because I think one key challenge that I found that is common across the board is
Hmm.
the requirement to ensure, you know, data security, right? In an increasingly borderless world of trade and commerce, right? Data often travels beyond the borders, right? So
Hmm.
therefore, it is critical to have very sound technical and organizational measures in place to ensure adequate protection of data. And this is all the more
Hmm.
significant, especially with the rapid strides in technology,
Yeah.
including artificial intelligence, right? So it's extremely important to have you know to adapt your organization's technical measures, right, to sort of you know navigate those challenges.
Hmm. Interesting. And what are the biggest difference between working in private practice versus in-house legal roles within multinational corporations?
Well, I think see, when you actually practice law,
Yeah.
right? You're more of a lawyer, right? Whereas when you're part of in-house, you are a business lawyer,
Hmm.
right? So basically, I think one of the primary reasons, uh, one of the primary reasons why you have to be successful in your in-house career, in-house role, is your ability to understand the law and
Yeah.
apply it to your business,
Hmm.
right? So obviously, it's not just about providing legal advice. It's actually about providing business advice,
Hmm.
right? In the legal
Yeah.
context.
Interesting. And looking back at your career so far, what achievement are you the most proud of?
Well, in fact, to be honest with you, Vaidhyam, it's quite difficult to say because those achievements have to be seen in context
Hmm.
and is often involved the help and guidance of teams outside of legal as well, right? But that being said, helping setting up the legal function in my first in-house job
Hmm.
and making it integral to the business, to providing in my subsequent roles, including my current one, legal and commercial support,
Hmm.
right, to my business, enabling them to generate significant revenue for the company,
Hmm.
right? To identifying, developing, and mentoring talent in my prior roles, who could shape legally and commercially beneficial outcomes for the business.
Hmm.
I would say are some of the key achievements. Looking back, I can be justifiably proud of.
Very impressive. And what advice would you give to students who are looking to to specialize in technology law and commercial transactions?
I think one key I would lesson which I have learned is that it's critical for you to understand the business,
Hmm.
right? understand the business and how it operates, right? Which will enable you to structure and close commercial transactions successfully, right? So it is not just about, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's not about understanding the law, right? You need to be able to apply that law to facilitate business, right? So I think that's the key for any aspiring lawyer who wants to do technology, who wants to actually, go up in the technology space.
Interesting. And are there any books or podcasts you would recommend for our students?
Well, I think I would network. I mean, from my experience, I've benefited tremendously from the Association of Corporate Counsel network,
Hmm.
right? In fact, they have some excellent programs designed for in-house counsels,
Hmm.
right? So this has actually enormously helped me over the years, right? And
Hmm.
that's one thing that I would really recommend for in-house for lawyers
Yeah.
aspiring to move in-house.
Interesting. And would you say networking is important in your?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because again,
Hmm.
ACC has given me an amazing platform to network with like-minded people,
Hmm.
right? Even though I must confess I have not been very active with the
Yeah.
ACC network of late, thanks to my work commitments. But I think that's something which, you know, I would strongly recommend for all aspiring legal professionals because that gives you an amazing perspective, right, of
Hmm.
what's happening in your world and the different legal trends and the merging technologies and so on and so forth, right? And it is also a great opportunity to have fun on the side, right?
Yeah.
So I think I would really recommend that because they have some great books, networking opportunities, so on and so forth.
Interesting. And so, what would be your advice for students who are maybe like first year, second year, or third year, who are still students? What's your advice for them to how to they can benefit from networking? Like how they can utilize it to benefit them?
I think, see, networking is very important because even though for someone starting out his legal education, the first year or second year of law, he or she may not be so conversant with, the benefits of networking, right?
Hmm.
So, what I would recommend is that just go out, meet people, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy the process, enjoy the conversations. And I think, and one thing leads to another, right?
Hmm.
Because you may be actually socializing, you may be meeting with some of the stalwarts for the legal industry,
Hmm.
right? You never know, yeah, they may actually remember you over the years and would be happy to help you out once you actually graduate,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
I think you can never underestimate the benefits of networking. It's so critical to the development of your career, right? Because most of the time, uh, you happen to land a job or an opportunity through your contacts, right? So I think even though someone who is starting out as a starting out as a student may not be able to appreciate the value of networking, but I would still encourage them to go out and meet as many people as possible.
Hmm.
That would actually enable them to expand their network, right?
Yeah. Interesting. And and what advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, I think in hindsight, I feel I should have spent a little longer time in law firms, right?
Hmm.
Because I would say that even though I would say the reasonably well-rounded experience as a litigator, I probably should have spent a little more time with law firms because my law firm career was just under 2 years, right? Um, but perhaps I would say that, especially for those people aspiring to move in-house, it is critical, it is essential to have, I would say, 3 to 5 years of experience working with law firms, right? Because once you have that, because it enables you to have that solid grounding in law, right?
Hmm.
Which would be a launch pad for your, uh, career
Yeah.
on the business side of law, right?